Hi there, I'm Clifford Bates, and welcome once again to reading Machiavelli's Discourses. We're continuing Book 1, our examination of Book 1, and we're turning again today to Chapter 8. The last chapter we dealt with the question of the usefulness of accusations. Now today, the title is, As much as accusations are useful to republics, so much are calumnies pernicious. Now calumnies what are calumnies? Calumnies are false statements. If accusations are accusing something of somebody of something, that I believe it. But calumnies are simply really basically a statement. I know it's false. We know it's false. I know it's not true. It's a lie. It's something that we know that it's, or an accusation we know that it's not necessarily true. But I'm accusing you to harm you. It's done to harm you. An accusation. In other words, the question is, often accusations are done because some harm was done. You have done some harm to me, or I feel you're going to do some harm to me, and therefore I'm making the accusation in a kind of defensive mode. Now, I might be wanting also revenge, too, for a harm that has been done to me. Whereas a calumny is simply, I'm doing it because I want to harm you. I want to hurt you. I may do this from fear also, but I've not been. The question is, there's been no real. You've done nothing wrong. The party has done nothing wrong. In other words, there is no harm or done action. It's in other words, I may have done this out of fear, but there was no real harm done on the part of the person who's you're making the statements against. So therefore, this is why this is so dangerous in a republic. So let's go look at this. This is going to be a couple straight ones. Let's go right to paragraph 1. Notwithstanding that the virtue of Furius Camillus, after he had freed Rome from the oppression of the French, the Gauls, right? The Gauls came and they came down here. The Calmus freed them. And had made all Roman citizens yield him without their appearing to them that rapacious reputation or rank were taken away from them. Okay? Now this is Livy 5, right? This is this idea of this person, Furius Camillus, helped freed the Romans from the Gauls, the French. In other words, but nonetheless, Manlius Capitolinus could not endure having so much honor and so much glory attributed to him. That is, in other words, that this person, Furius Camillus, has helped stop the Gauls, and therefore Manlius Capitolinus really could not stand that so much honor and so much glory attributing to Furius, right? Since it appeared to Manlius that he had done as much for the safety as Rome, for having saved the capital, he deserved as much as Camillus, and as for others, and as for other martial phrases, he was not inferior. In other words, in other martial praises, he was not inferior. In other words, the martial arts and to that, he was not inferior to him. He though he thought he did as much. They praised Furius more because he says that he had made all Romans yield to him without appearing to them that reputation or rank were taken away from them. In other words, it was given him honor, given that okay, no, you're showing me this respect. I'm not doing it in a lordly fashion. He's not doing it in a lordly fashion. He's not diminishing them, but in other words, because of this, he was kind of saying, "Oh, I deserve this." Now the other guy goes, "Well, wait a minute, I deserve it too. I saved the capital." And other things are not inferior to him, right? So loaded with envy, since he could not remain quiet because of the other's glory, and saw that he could not sow discord among the fathers. He turned to the plebs, sowing various sinister opinions within it. So in other words, he couldn't get the others of the nobles to agree to this. So he then started sowing discord against with the plebs, right? He turned to the plebs, sowing sinister opinions within it. Among other things, he said was that the treasure gathered together to give to the French, and then not given it to them, had been usurped by private citizens. And if it were taken back, it could be converted to the public utility, relieving the plebs of taxes or even some private debts. In other words, okay, we gave them that. Money was given to the Gauls. Maybe that was a deal that was done. Public money was given to this. Instead of the money given to the French, it was either not given to the French, or it could be taken back from the French, because it was usurped by private citizens. It had not been given to them, had been usurped. The private people have done it. In other words, maybe implying that Furius himself has taken it, right? Whereas that if it was given back, if it was found and given back to the people, it could be used to reduce the taxes, the tax on private debts. These words were able to do. Words were able to do much among the plebs. So it began to make a crowd, and it began to make a crowd, and to make many tumults for its own purpose in the city. Since this thing displeased the Senate, and appeared to it momentous and dangerous, it created a dictator to inquire into the case, and to check the impetuosity of Manlius. Then the dictator at once had him summoned, and the two came out in public, confronting each other. The dictator in the midst of the nobles, and Manlius in the midst of the plebs. Manlius was asked to say who held this treasure. He told of, because the Senate was desirous of learning it as the plebs. To this, Manlius did not respond specifically, but kept evading, and and said it was not necessary to tell them what they knew. So the dictator had him put in prison. Right, this is now 3. Livy 5, Livy 6, right? It had been noted by this text how detestable calamities are in free cities, and in every other mode of life, and that to repress them, one should not spare any order that may suit the purpose. Nor can there be a better order for taking them away than to open up the very many places of accusations. For as much as accusations help republics, so much do calumnies hurt. So in other words, there can be no better order than taking away calumnies, than opening up very many places for accusations. Allow the accusations to be made publicly. Because if you, in other words, don't allow calumnies, private calumnies to among people. Make the accusation public. Don't, in other words, make it be accused. You might go to public authority. Because accusations help republic, but calumnies hurt. Beside one side and the other, there is difference that calumnies have need neither of witnesses nor of any specific corroboration to prove them. so that everyone can be calumniated by everyone. In other words, you make an accusation that there's no and there's no way to prove it. In other words, there's no witnesses. Oh, you're just, this is what racism means. This is the kind of the racist or the sexist, homophobe, or bad faith argument that can be done. Oh, he's a racist. He's a racist. Well, what? Okay, make the charge. What is the charge? Oh, there's no charge. I'm just saying he's a racist. He's a bad person. There's no crime. There's no thing that he can be punished for. There's no accusation. There's only social stigma and social things and resentment. In other words, that calumnies need neither of witnesses nor any specific correlation to prove them, so that everyone can calumny by everyone. But everyone cannot, of course, be accused, since accusations need of true corroborations and of circumstances that show the truth of the accusation. This is why I think student evaluations are calumnies in that sense. Because they if it was true, there should be an accusation, not just I'm saying I'm doing student evaluations are forms of calumny. They are they are dangerous. They are threatening the things. Why? Because they're not okay. They're random. They're no retaliation again. Well, then people can use it for a weapon. That's why it's dangerous in that sense. That these can, therefore vicious people can use it as a form of calumny. And there's no end of vicious or nasty people in today's life, right? So if it's an accusation, this accusation need to be true, and collaborations and the circumstances will show the truth of these accusations. Men are accused to magistrates, to people, to consuls. They are calumniated in plazas and in laginas. In other words, the houses and the plazas and this. In other words, you address it to an authority. They're calumnies by just gossiping, talking about it, right? Laginas. Calumnies is used more where accusations is used less, and where the cities are less ordered to receive them. In other words, calumnies are used when the accusations cannot be used, and where cities are less ordered doesn't allow for the accusation to be made. So calumnies. So an orderer of a republic should order that every citizen in it can accuse without any fear or without any respect. And having done this and observed it well, he should punish calumniers harshly. They cannot complain if they are punished, since they had places open for the hearings of the accusations of him whom one had calumniated in the laginas, the houses or the public areas together, right? Where this part is not well ordered, great disorders always follow, for calumnies anger, and do not punish citizens. And those angered think of getting even, hating rather than fearing the things said against them. In other words, therefore, the calumnied think of those who. In other words, I've been calumniated. I want, I am, angry. I want even. I want to hurt the people who said it to me. I want vengeance, and therefore, rather than fearing the things said against them. Third, this part, as was said, well ordered in Rome, and it was always been badly ordered in our city of Florence. So Florence is an example of calumnies operate, not as accusations. There's no room for accusations. There's only calumnies. For as in Rome, this order did much good. In Florence, this order did much evil. Whomever reads the history of this city, Florence, will see how many calumnies were given out in every time against citizens who have been put to work in important affairs of it. And then you're doing something, in other words, and people's envy of it, they'll start spreading stories about them. They'll be spreading claims about what they're doing, and usually false claims about what they're doing. Not official complaints. So anyone they're doing important affairs for it. For of one individual they said that he had stolen money from the commons. Of another that he had not won a campaign because he had been corrupted, or this other had done something so inconvenient because of his ambition. From this it arose that on every side hatred surged. Hence they went to division, from division to sect, from sect to ruin. In other words, everyone's calumny everyone. Therefore, the people calumny want revenge on the people, these people. Therefore, they find allies and friends. Therefore, they went from hatred on every side. Therefore, divisions, then divisions to sects, the sects then to ruin. Right? If there had been orders in Florence for accusing citizens and punishing calumniators, people who spent calumny, slanders and lies, the infinite scandals that occurred would have not occurred. For those citizens, whether they were condemned or absolved, would not have been able to hurt the city, and very many fewer would have been accused than were calumniated, since one could not, as I said, accuse as one would calumny against everyone. Among other things, a citizen could avail himself, or to arrive at, in other words, among other things, a citizen could avail himself of, to arrive at greatness, have been these avail himself to arrive at greatness, have been these calumnies. In other words, these calumnies came, these accusations that they could have availed themselves so that they could arrive at the greatness. They have been these calumnies. They do very much for him against powerful citizens who are opposed to his appetite, for taking the side of the people and confirming it in a bad confirming it in the bad opinion it has of them. He makes it a friend. In other words, he's very much against the powerful citizens who are opposed to his appetite, and therefore they take the side of the people, confirming it in the bad opinion it has of those people. Right? He's a friend. Right? So therefore, this is that you turn to the many. If you, I see that person there. I don't like you, and I should turn the silencer on. I apologize, everyone. So, in other words, you have someone who can do something great. I don't like you. I resent you. I start saying to, and I can't get the other people to look at me and don't necessarily buy my opinion. So I look at the many. I say, okay, they're crooks. He's a crook. I'm basically turning to the many who has negative opinions of this group anyways. The group here anyways. The powerful, or the ambitious, and they have suspicions of them anyways. And I just feed them, and I become their friend. They support me against them, right? He makes it a friend. Although one could bring up very many examples, I wish to be content with only one. The Florentine army was in the field at Lucca, commanded by Messer Giovanni Guardini, its commissioner. Either his bad governance or his bad fortune willed for the capture of the city not to occur, or capture of that city not to occur. Yet, however, the case stood. Messer Giovanni was faulted, as it was said he had been corrupted by the Lucchese. When the calumny was favored by his enemies, it was brought Messer Giovanni almost to ultimate despair. Although to justify himself he wished to be put in the hands of the captain, nonetheless he could never justify himself because there were no modes in that republic to enable him to do so. There was no means that he could justify, defend himself against the captain. On account of this, there was a great indignation among Messer Giovanni's friends, who were the larger part of the great men, and among those who desired to bring innovation to Florence. The people who would want to bring innovation. Again, this is Florentine histories, right? So, for this, like other causes, this affair grew so much that the ruin of the Republic followed from it. In other words, they would fight, they would bring back in other words, they would overthrow the Republic in order to do this, in that sense. Before we wrap up this chapter. Thus, Manlius Capitolinus was a calumniator and not an accuser. And the Romans showed precisely in this case how calumniators should be punished. For one should make them become accusers, and when the accusation is corroborated as true, either rewarded or not punish them. But when it is not corroborated as true, punish them as manliness. Manlius was punished. I think it was thrown off the Capitolinus steps. So therefore, this is the question: a calumniator needs to be punished, and punish them as he was punished, as harshly as he was punished. Manliness. Famous thing about manliness. Manliness was condemned, and in order to condemn him, they had to make sure that Montesquieu says in that the trial condemned him only because they arranged it not to be able to see the Capitoline Hill, right? They could not see the people could not see the Capitoline Hill. That's Montesquieu says it. Luck in that sense, a little bit of luck. And then he was thrown off the Tarpentine Rock, and as well as his family house was removed, and that therefore the family, and that none of this, that moved them from that high place. They were moved away from that. They were banned to live there. So again, this is what the punishment was. It was a very severe punishment. He was condemned to death. So let's stop here. If you have any questions or comments, please make them below in the comments, and I'll respond to them. Another thing you can do is you can like the video, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. Share it far and wide. Share it out. Share it around. Another thing you can do is if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Encourage others to come check the channel out and subscribe, and check the other things. Check the two runs of Machiavelli that prints. We two different series on Machiavelli's prints that we've done. You can look at the other authors, ancient and modern, that we've covered as well. If you didn't like it, you can always thumbs down it, but please say why in the comments so people can benefit and learn and get something from it. Another thing you can do is you can follow me on social media. If you want to follow me on social media, the social media links are below, or the URLs are below. If you want to find out more about me as a scholar and as a researcher, you can check out the academic social media links that are below the social media links. And then for those of you who want to help what I do, you can do so either by becoming a member, a Subscribe Star, or a Patreon, and assist or donate to that, or you can do so by or buying one of my books that are listed below, either at your local bookstore or online distributor like Amazon or Barnes & Noble or whatever, or through the publishers directly. With that, we'll stop. We turn next to the next chapter. We'll see you later. Take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.